Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Elder Scrolls Lore. Today we're going to be talking about the Nordic-Falmer War. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, today I'm actually kind of tired. It is around 5 in the morning, and the reason I'm up so late doing this is because I'm trying to get a little bit ahead, because this weekend I will not be able to. My sister is coming up to visit, and she'll be here till Sunday, and then on top of that I have a concert on Sunday, so I don't know how open I'm going to be able to, I don't know how free I'm going to be able to make these videos. So with that, let's hop right in it. So the Nordic-Falmer War was between the Atmoran immigrants to Tamriel and the native snow elves of Skyrim, and it occurred in the late Merethic era. Now, a little bit of a background. In the late Merethic era, there began a tradition for the Atmorans to relocate and settle on Murith, or modern-day Tamriel. For a time, Atmoran settlers and Myr lived in peace with each other, but Atmoran population boomed in Skyrim, and on top of that, harsh weather forced more Atmorans to immigrate. Thus, the city of Saarthal was born. Now, kind of before we go any further, I know some of this will be a little bit of a refresher from the Atmora and Atmorans video, but we'll get to more details in this video. So with that, let's keep going. The Snow Elves feared the growing rate of men in Skyrim. It is believed that this led to a genocidal ideology against men. However, another theory is that the Atmoran settlers found the Eye of Magnus. This hidden artifact of Skyrim is said to have combined the greed and fear of the Snow Elves, and then they wanted the artifact for themselves. The Snow Elves attacked Saarthal at night and nearly murdered all of its inhabitants. The city was left to ruin, but 3 survived. Ysgramor and his 2 sons, Yengel and Yelgar, would escape and go back to Atmora. That was known as the Night of Tears. This assault initially worked. The Atmorans were gone, but the Myr could never be so wrong. The Atmorans would rally and return in the form of Ysgramor's 500 companions. A fleet of longboats left the Atmoran port, and I know I'm going to butcher this right here, Jylkjurfik. Jylkjurfyk. Try saying that. I'm not going to try to say it again. But they left this port to avenge their kin. This marked the return. The Atmorans led bloody skirmishes to kill and enslave all elves. Skyrim would be then claimed by the Nord ancestors. The last Snow Elf commander was killed on Solstheim during the Battle of Mosring. The Snow Prince became the only elf that Atmorans would come to admire and respect. He proved a worthy enemy and killed many Atmorans. His body was buried. Give me a hot sec to turn the page. Was buried in Yolgir Barrow, which is actually available to visit in Elder Scrolls 3 Blood Moon, which I believe is a DLC. I never played it. So the Battle of Mosring began with the ancient Nord attack on Solstheim. Initially, the Myr were cut down so quick that the Mosring is said to, I quote, ran red with elf blood, end quote. The Snow Prince would turn the tide by arriving on the front line with his spear, shining armor, and his great horse. This inspired the remaining elves to fight on. The Snow Prince fought so fiercely he cut down the mightiest of Atmoran warriors, including, and again, I apologize if I butcher these names because I know I probably will, Ingoldar, White Eye, Ulfgi, Anvil Hand, Strom the White, Frida Oakenwand, and Heimdall the Frenzied. However, the Snow Prince would fall by a 12-year-old girl named Fina. She watched her mother, Jofrir, be killed by the Snow Prince, and in a fit of rage, she threw her mother's sword, which would strike the prince's heart. His death shattered the Snow Elven morale, and they would be crushed. This would be the last major battle, but the last recorded skirmish would be on 139 of the First Era, when King Harold, 13th of Ysgramor's line, would defeat a group of Snow Elves. The Nordic-Falmer War would serve as a transition. Men became the dominant race of Tamriel. At the same time of the Atmoran campaign, the Need populations of men were rebelling against their Iliad slave masters. With elven slaves, Sarathal would be rebuilt, and Windhelm would be founded. The first human empire would be born and be led by the Ysgramor dynasty. On actually a slightly more positive note, the race of men would also develop a writing system. However, this would also be using the elven knowledge. Surviving snow elves pled with the Dwemer for aid. Dwemer agreed, but would eventually betray the elves and enslave them. Most notably, the Dwemer would mass poison the snow elves, which would eventually make them go blind. And after the Dwemer disappeared, the snow elves would continue to devolve into what we know as the Falmer. Few snow elves did survive without the aid of the Dwemer, and I use aid very cautiously because I don't know if I would say aid. So yeah, the few survived in pockets, and some actually went to create the Chantry of Ariel, which had hundreds of snow elves seek refuge there, but they would be slaughtered by the Falmer. I don't know why I went to go say Falmer. That's not what I was going for. They were slayed by the Falmer. The Falmer, their devolved selves killed them. Knight Paladin Gelabor and Archcurate Virthur would be the last snow elves. And at the end of the Dragonborn DLC, I'm 90% sure you kill Vythor. You do kill Vythor. I don't even know how to say his name. I'm not gonna lie. Vyrthur. It's been a long night. I just spent the last hour doing this research. All right, so give me a break, please. But that is all I have on this for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I honestly was really surprised to learn about this kind of stuff. I mean, the Falmer have always been kind of a race that has not been a fan for me. Particularly because I've had some weird run-ins with the Falmer, especially in Blackreach. I do not like Blackreach. Blackreach is probably my least favorite place to be in Skyrim. I go through this part of Skyrim as quick as I can. I don't know why. I just don't like it, and I'm sticking to that. But the Falmer have always been something I really avoid. They're very difficult opponents, especially when you're a low level or a lower level, and for the most part they just are just so difficult to beat, and I just never ever liked them. But you know, the snow elves, hearing the tragedy of the snow elves, not really tragedy because they kind of brought it on themselves by going, hey, let's just kill all the humans because they're kind of getting too strong. It's like, alright, well, you brought it on to yourselves, but to hear how brutal things got and how bad things were between the races of men and mer is kind of incredible, because there's always been that tension between elves and men, but to see how it broke out and actually unfolded is crazy. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any recommendations for future videos, let me know. There's been a few people. One recommended the Skyrim Civil War, which already came out, and another recommended, oh man, I'm gonna draw a blank right here. This is not good. It's time to flip through the notebook and it just well, besides that, the Akavir, someone advised Akavir, sorry. I didn't even get there in time, but in the meantime as well, kind of an update. So I'm working on doing the Argonian. Someone recommended doing Argonians and how they became slaves. Now this is a lot bigger of a task than I've done. I haven't had something of this size since I don't even know if I would say the Great War. I would probably say since the Septim Dynasty. And so I had the luxury with the Septim Dynasty to make that with as much time as possible, because I had not started with the series yet. So for the most part, I am working on it. Just know I am working on it. It probably won't be coming out. Probably doing some of these topics first. So they're relatively easier, they're shorter, and they are you know, not as long. That it is shorter. I'm like I said, I'm tired. Sorry, but it's just relatively easier and shorter to accomplish, and you know, it keeps things quick and it keeps these videos not nice and short, but a decent length. And they're not, you know, 20 minutes long, but they're not 6 minutes long. But I mean, I have had a few videos where they end up being 6 minutes long. I've kind of gotten to the point where I've hit some big ones, right? Well, like, not really big ones, but the bigger unknown events, I guess, in the lore. Like the Septim Dynasty is obviously big, the Riemann Dynasty is big, but then, you know, the Forsworn Uprising, not so much. So, excuse me, it just gets to the point where some of these videos might be a bit shorter than usual, because the forebears and the crowns are relatively short, but then like, then there's this. You know what I mean? So I mean, just gotta, I hope you guys understand that, you know, some of these videos are not going to be 10 to 20 minutes long. Some of these videos might be 5 to 7 or 8 minutes long, because I can only do so much I only can do so much with how much I'm given, and some of these topics don't have a lot on them, but they're still interesting and they still have stuff. So, and I want to keep the show going. So some of I might have a couple shorter episodes, you know, 5 to 7 minutes long, and then, you know, I might have, you know, something bigger, like anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, like this right here. We're going on, I think, 12 minutes soon. So with that, before we get to 12 minutes, I will conclude, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I post this series every Tuesday and Saturday, and I hope you guys enjoyed again. Please hit that like button if you can't get enough of this series, and please consider subscribing. Peace. Damn, hit just 12 minutes. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. Couldn't not get past 12 minutes. I'm sorry. I tried. Bye.